Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode here. Well, I guess not really an episode, but another video here on the channel. Today, we're going to be going back and looking at our MLS's back tournament group stages and then also making our predictions for the bracket. Now, I will say, when I made that prediction video, again, as I said in the video, we actually made that before Carlos Vela announced he wasn't going to go, among other situations that ended up happening that caused some disruptions in terms of the group stages, including Nashville and FC Dallas both having to pull out due to COVID-19. But did want to come back here and just look at the picks we made compared to actual results, and then also make our picks for the knockout stage. Now, I do not have a face cam today. I am out of town, but I did want to go ahead and get this video up for you guys because I do know that the knockout stages start today. Well, tomorrow as of recording this, but getting this out here for you guys on Saturday. Wanted to make sure that we were staying up to date on this as much as possible. I do also want to do a reaction video to the new FIFA trailer that came out, but we may end up just waiting for some more information to come in August before we do another one of those. But let's hop into this little thing. Now, group stage A and B didn't actually get counted because, again, Nashville and Dallas both dropped out. But it did end up making the league a little bit more balanced in terms of what teams were where. So Orlando, Philadelphia, and NYCFC all ended up making it out. I believe those are the same three teams that I chose, but again, I don't know for sure. I don't think it was in this order, though. I want to say Philadelphia was at the top, and or maybe it was NYCFC. And then I think Orlando was the team that I predicted to come out. It was either them or Miami. I can't remember. Might have been wrong, but again, Group A didn't end up counting for this little MLS competition thing. Group B, I want to say, I mean, Dallas was one that I was on the fence about. Chicago I was also on the fence about. But Seattle, I want to say, I definitely chose San Jose. And then Vancouver, I want to say I chose as well. But again, I'm not 100% sure, honestly. But in terms of the rest of the groups, we actually did decent except for Group E, which we'll get into here in a second. But we actually ended up having Toronto coming out in first in the group, which was a little surprising. I did think DC United would play a lot better. They did absolutely horrible. It is what it is. Well, I guess I can't really say that. They got 2 draws, so you can't put too much flack onto them. But Toronto FC comes out in first. New England comes in second, which I thought they were going to be the wild card. But again, if DC United played well, it all would have kind of worked out a little bit differently. But the 2 teams that I expected to come out of the 3 ended up coming out, which is great, except it wasn't in the order that I wanted. But I guess technically DC United's the only one I got wrong, because then it was Toronto and New England were the next 2 up. But in Group D, we had Sporting KC and Minnesota come through. I got both of those right, 100 points for both Sporting KC and Minnesota in the 1 and 2 spot. In Group E, of course, is the one that I got horribly wrong. Cincinnati played super well. They ended up looking like a cohesive unit. Atlanta United, who actually just let go of Frank de Boer, which will be another video that I'm sure I'm going to have to upload at some point. They actually came in last place, 0 goals scored, 0 wins, 0 draws, 3 defeats. New York Red Bulls, very surprisingly for me, they ended up getting knocked out. Thought they would get away with that number 2 seed, but Columbus Crew comes out on top with 3 wins, 0 draws, 0 losses, and a +7 goal difference. They played absolutely insane in the group, and definitely one of the stronger contenders for the rest of this competition. But it ended up being Columbus and Cincinnati coming out of the group there. So in Group F, there was Portland and LAFC, the 2 teams that managed to come out here, which I honestly thought Portland was only going to get the wild card, but they went undefeated. They managed to come back last night as of recording this. They came back and tied LAFC 2-2 to get the number 1 spot away from them. 7 points in the group, LAFC with 5, Houston with 2, and LA Galaxy with 1. LA Galaxy surprisingly did very poorly, but I don't know. I don't know how surprising that is. Now, I did pick them as my number 2, but that is a little surprising to me. But also, it was a super tough group. It was definitely going to come down to who could get the results out of Houston and LA Galaxy, and just too many draws happened for Houston and not enough goals being scored. So, a bit unfortunate for them there. But we're going to come down to the knockout stages here. and we're going to go ahead and make some picks. So the round of 16, we'll work on the left side, then we'll go to the right. Philadelphia versus New England. Now I am going to look at the table up here just to make sure I fully understand what happened. I will say I did not watch a lot of these games, but I try to keep up at least with the score lines here. Now, just gut reaction, I'm going to say Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia is a better team than New England. They also perform better in their group, but New England is a good team. They could end up coming with a shock victory here, but I think Philadelphia is much better suited to come out of this game. Now, Sporting KC and Vancouver. Sporting KC top of their group, but they were in a group of Minnesota, Real Salt Lake, and Colorado. And then Vancouver, bottom of their group, Chicago, Seattle, and San Jose. Now, Vancouver, I would say, played better opponents, sorry. Sporting KC actually played better, but only having a +2 score difference does kind of worry me. I am going to pick Sporting KC to come through, but Vancouver, man, that game's going to be tough. That game is going to be super tough. But we're going to go with Sporting KC. I'm sticking with my gut. We're going to go with it. It didn't turn us too bad in the group stage, so we're going to trust it again here in the knockout rounds. Toronto FC, NYCFC. Toronto, I mean, they got top of their group, you know, so it's kind of hard to not pick them, and NYCFC didn't play great. I clicked NYCFC, but we're gonna go with Toronto here. They just, honestly, they played super well. They looked composed. They grinded out some victories. NYCFC didn't have that hard of a group, in my opinion, and probably should have performed better against Philadelphia and Orlando. I don't know if they should have come away with massive victories by any means, but I do think they should have performed a little bit better than they did. So I'm going to pick Toronto to come through, and I am going to pick Portland. Cincinnati's looking really good, but Portland is looking incredible, in my opinion. A lot better just than the majority of the teams in the that made it into the round of 16. So although Cincinnati looks good, I do expect Portland to come out of that. And then here on the right side, we're going to go Orlando and Montreal. I want to pick Montreal, but Orlando's been playing really well, and honestly I think they get to deal with the heat a little bit better, so I'm going to pick Orlando. Seattle versus LAFC. Seattle kind of got lucky, in my opinion. LAFC, I think, is the better team. I'm going to pick LAFC. That's going to be a super good matchup for the quarterfinals. And then San Jose versus Real Salt Lake. I'm going with San Jose. They're playing really well in this tournament. I just think they're the better team. Out and out, that's how it is. Same with Columbus. I don't even have much to really say here. Minnesota, decent team, grinded out their points to make it to the round of 16, but Columbus is a much better team, especially with the addition to Nagbe. As we saw, it made the team just round out a lot better. So we're going to go with them. Now, here in the quarterfinals, I'm going to go with Columbus, and then LAFC versus Orlando. As much as I'm saying Orlando's doing well because they're playing in Florida and they're used to this heat, LAFC looked really, really good. But I don't know. I'm gonna go with the shock, and I'm gonna go with Orlando because I think they're playing well as a team right now, and they have a lot of hype in them, and they have a lot of energy. LAFC still doing really well, still going to play really well. Going to be a super close game, may even go to extra minutes. But let's go with Orlando, the shock answer, especially as an Atlanta United fan. But we're going to go with Columbus versus Orlando in the semifinals. Over in the left side of the bracket, I did say I'm going to go Portland. I think Portland looks better than Toronto here for sure. And then Philadelphia versus Sporting KC. I need to look at this one more time. Again, I think Sporting KC should have played a little bit better in their group, and I think San Jose played better teams. Or I said San Jose. Sporting KC and Philadelphia is who I'm supposed to be paying attention to. Philadelphia playing well. They both had a +2. And Philadelphia knows how to grind out a win. I'm going to go with Philadelphia. And Philadelphia versus Portland. Man, I want to go Sporting KC versus Portland, but I'm I'm going to go Portland, man. I'm sticking to it. I'm going Portland for the final over Philadelphia. They're going to get through the semifinal. And then Columbus versus Orlando. I think Columbus is a more... Usually I would say Columbus is a more stable team, and I think that's how I'm going to stick with it. Orlando's looking really good, man. I really want to pick them, especially with them being at home through this whole thing. But we're going to go with Portland versus Columbus. Nagby versus Portland once again in a final. And I think Columbus is a better team here. But Portland's played against better teams. Because Atlanta was weak. New York Red Bulls weak at the time, looking a little shaky. Cincinnati, decent but not great. And Portland did really, really well against 3 solid opponents. But I don't know. Columbus is in form right now. I'm going to give it to Columbus. I'm going to give it to Columbus in a 2-3. And then in the semifinals, total goals, I'm going to say that's going to be a 3-goal game. And this one's going to be probably a 2-goal game. No, probably a 3-goal game as well. 4-goal game. We're going to go a 4-goal game over here, a 3-goal game over here. Columbus to win 3-2 in the final. So that is our bracket. Here is what we are looking at for the MLS is Back tournament knockout stages. Portland versus Columbus in the final. Columbus to win it all. It does hurt a little bit to say that, especially with Atlanta United not being in the final or not be making it at all. But again, that's a conversation for a different day. This is how we're going to leave our bracket. We'll come back and react to this once the tournament is over. But if you guys did enjoy, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And until the next one, I'll see you guys later. Peace. Is it my fault?